Okay, wine, beer, or whiskey? How many like wine? Whiskey. I'm with you. Single malt, though. Beer. Oh, it's close between wine and beer. Let's do wine. Okay? See, what would you call the process of making wine? I know in beer you'd be brewing, in whiskey you'd be distilling. What would fermenting? Okay. Let's say you don't grow the grapes. Let's just make it a little bit easier. Someone sends you the grapes. So you have two processing in your winemaking process. Fermentation and bottling. First of all, what's our time frame here? How long does it take to do this whole thing? What's that? A year? I mean, if this was whiskey, I could talk about it. It's going to be 15 years, 12 years at the minimum. But you say about, why don't we say 1 year? And bottling is, this is not to scale. Bottling is what? 10 minutes, right? So, first thing you could see is that something like this takes a long period of time to do. It's a year, but it doesn't start January 1st and end December 31st. It crosses over years. It certainly crosses over months if your period is a month. Direct materials. In the fermentation process, where do you add the direct materials when you're making wine? What's that? At the beginning, right? You'll add what? What do you add for wine? Some grapes? Anything else get added? Like in beer, it would be a series of things you'd add here, right? Hops and malt and all that water. Is that the only place it's added? We're doing a high-end wine, or we're doing like Gallo? Because somewhere in here they may be adding some sulfates. Some apple flavor, is that what you're suggesting? But you might add some sulfates in here, maybe not. What else might you add? Sugar? Well, in low-end wines, they might add some sugar. Okay, and I'll put a box on these because these may or may not be added. On a high-end wine, they're not going to do that. How about so this is direct materials. How about in bottling, where's the material? It's happening so fast, right? It's all pretty much here, the bottle and the label, right? Okay, how about direct labor? How's that added? What's that? So there's some right here upon receipt. You're checking them and you're putting them into the vat. I'm going to guess direct labor is kind of like this. Throughout you have the guy who's coming in and checking to make sure that things are going as planned. Over the course of time, maybe turning the bottle, turning it a quarter along the way, etc. Then you have overhead. How's that applied? Probably throughout as well, right? Your overhead. The people come in and make sure that everything's scrubbed down so you have a clean environment. The temperature sensors, if you don't have something that's below the ground that's keeping it cool. Bottling, probably not a whole lot of labor here, just the inspectors. So it's probably happening throughout. as is the overhead. So this is a process type of model. And it's fairly normal for most processes. They go through multiple departments. The process, this is elongated, but even non-elongated process, it might span multiple periods of time. Direct materials are generally added at the beginning of each department or each process, with the possibility of adding more direct materials along the way. But clearly you need materials at the beginning. And generally speaking, labor and overhead happens throughout. So this is how a process environment works. And let's have that image in mind as we talk about it.